Good morning, everyone. Good morning, and thank you for your presentation. Nice to meet all of you. I'm Hemin. As an announcer mentioned before, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Finda. Finda is a leading Korean fintech company that has facilitated over $9 billion in loans for 3.5 million users so far. At Finda, we are passionate about using AI and data to help people to make better and smarter financial decisions. As someone who has been building startups for the past 15 years, I'm honored to moderate this important discussion on AI strategy and the Korea future. Our session today is titled AI Hegemony War, Strategic Choices for Korea's Future. It's not just about the technology, it's about survival. It's about making the right choices, building the right culture, and forging the right partnership in a time when AI is fundamentally reshaping global power dynamics. Let me introduce our panelists. So first, Brandon Ching is the co-founder and president of Shield AI. He already introduced amazing his company in the presentation, but I would like to introduce briefly that Shield AI is an advanced AI company specializing in autonomous systems for defense and commercial applications, with a mission-driven approach to protect lives in high-risk environments. Under Brandon's leadership, Shield AI has demonstrated its capabilities in real-world operations, from autonomous fighter jets to disaster response systems, and is rapidly expanding its impact across industries. Is right? Thank you. And please meet Joseph Lee. He is the second presenter today, and he's the head of the Korea Business Venture Public Sector at Palantir. Palantir Technology is a leading US-based software company specializing in big data analytics and AI-powered automation, with a market capitalization of about $290 billion. And at Palantir, Joseph drives AI adoption in national security, public safety, and critical infrastructure sectors. And for this discussion, we invited Dr. Rajiv Biswas, and next to me. He is the CEO of Asia Pacific Economics. Rajiv previously served as Asia Pacific Chief Economist for IHS Markit, S&P Global Market Intelligence, and has been an advisor to multiple governments and multilateral institutions on trade, industrial strategy, and emerging market dynamics. So thank you for your attendance. So together, these three amazing leaders bring an unparalleled blend of technical expertise, strategy insights, and even entrepreneur grit. So let's dive right in. So I would like to start by asking Rajiv a question. So as I prepare for this panel discussion, I came across your interview in Sisajournal, and where you talk about the narrow window in for Korea to lead in AI. So in your view, what's the biggest risk if we miss this window? And what's the one thing that absolutely needs to happen now?
Thank you very much for your question, and thanks to the SFF Forum for inviting me to this conference. Of course, as we've just heard in the fantastic presentations by Brendan and Joseph, AI is dramatically transforming defense industries and also some other sectors that Joseph mentioned. And I think that is the great risk for Korea, is that at the moment we're seeing leadership from the US and China in many areas of AI. And I think because Korea is very much a technology-driven industrial economy that's heavily dependent on exports of high technology to the rest of the world, if Korea cannot maintain its competitive edge by integrating AI into many sectors of high-tech industry, then it will lose its competitiveness in the global economy to other competitors. And this is important for many key industries for Korea. For example, we could look at the development of autonomous vehicles. Obviously, globally, many of the leading car makers are developing that technology. And again, leadership in AI is very important. In the electronics sector, which is critical for Korean industry, again, AI is going to be fundamental. It already is fundamental, but increasingly more so for the competitiveness of many products. And we could look at many other areas. Robotics is going to be more and more important in many aspects of industrial manufacturing, but also in broader uses in society. So again, leadership in AI is very critical for that. And of course, we've just had a fantastic insight into the crucial importance for defense technology, which is also now a very important industry, both domestically for manufacturing in Korea, but also increasingly Korea is competing globally as a defense exporter to many countries. So in all of these areas, it's becoming very critical for AI, and I think now the challenge for Korea is to join the small group of countries that are AI leaders. And the issue of what is the one thing that needs to be done to boost Korea's position, I find it challenging to just say one thing, but clearly AI talent pool development's very important, I think, but also I think developing innovation in AI, venture capital for startups is going to be critical. And we'll hear later today about the importance of AI infrastructure, the data centers and energy infrastructure, which is critical for the success of Korea's AI industry. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for your answer. I totally agree with your insight and opinion that AI leadership is very important in every industries, and also the AI talent pool is also very important in AI venture capital for startups. That's also critical. So thank you for your answer. And next, I would like to ask to both Brandon and Joseph. So Joseph, from Palantir experience working with the governments in organizations worldwide, and Brandon also from Shield AI's global perspective, what's make the Korean market unique, not just in terms of the challenges, but also the opportunities you see here that might not exist in other countries?
That's a really good question. I think there are many strengths that are unique to Korea. One, I think, such global case that we could be really proud of ourselves is how we dealt with the COVID pandemic. So Korea is amazing in mobilizing collective creativity. I know that I think Korea has built its first blockchain-based identity system called KUV. And I think if you overlay the population density and the economy size of advanced nation, Korea is probably the lowest death rate that suffered during the COVID pandemic. So that's just one example. Another great strength that I mentioned in my talk earlier is we are, I think, arguably the most robust defense industrial base that's aligned to the West. When Chairman Song mentioned how we should be part of the Western ecosystem, I think the rise in global tensions actually give such a unique opportunity for Korean defense manufacturers, but not just the defense manufacturing supply chain, but the overall sort of resilience of our economy, when combined with operational AI, can be really boosted by 10x. So the last strength I think Korea has compared to other markets is, I think personally, Korea is a giant startup. It moves so fast. We are, I think, the second largest customer of OpenAI paid accounts, and even for Palantir, we see rapid adoption of our software platforms as operating systems in many enterprises. So how this country operates as a giant startup that moves with agile force and such important resource that we overlook, the collective creativity and attention span. I think these are what really makes Korean market such a unique place as technical connoisseurs.
Cool. No, I agree a lot with what Joseph said. When I think about the Korean marketplace and the Korean government and working with Korea writ large as a country, I think one, you all have a terrific technology base. It was said earlier, but there's a great technology base, a great defense industrial base. And so when you put those two together, it's really, it's a microcosm, I think, also of like the United States in terms of what needs to be done. Shifting that technology defense industrial base just to the next age and era, and you all have a lot of great leaders who are forward-thinking, forward-leaning in that mindset. Now, one of the perhaps better benefits than working in with a large country like the United States, large government, large bureaucratic processes, is that South Korea can be more nimble, more agile in many ways. Now, at the same time, you'll still have many of the same challenges that we would experience in the United States or in some other governments. There's always going to be bureaucratic challenges. There's always going to be traditional legacy thinking. But I do think the opportunities vastly outweigh what I would consider these as like pretty normal challenges in terms of entering a market and working with the Korean industrial base and Korean government.
Thank you for sharing your experience. And next question for Rajiv. So, given Korea's ambition to become a data center leader in Asia, so how do you access the current energy infrastructure readiness to support large-scale AI development? And what are the risks if Korea underinvests in this area?
Thanks. That's a crucial question, of course. And many countries around the world are grappling with that issue, the challenge of creating the AI factories, the data centers that will be the key infrastructure backbone for the AI revolution. I think Korea is starting off in a pretty strong position as a leader in power industry technology. There's many Korean companies that are international leaders in power infrastructure. So that is very important because the AI centers are going to need huge amounts of additional power over the next decade or so. And also for Korea, there's also going to be very big increases in power demand for semiconductors, fabs as well. So the combination of these high technology demand for energy is going to be fundamental to the reshaping of the future power industry in Korea. Over the next decade, there will be a significant increase in power capacity requirements for Korea. So the total power capacity requirement will rise. However, it's also taking place at a time when some of the existing power infrastructure is aging, particularly thermal power infrastructure. So not only does new capacity have to be developed, but also some of the existing capacity needs to be replaced. So there is a very big challenge for Korea, particularly for the government, to invest heavily in power infrastructure. But there's a lot of additional challenges around that, particularly the energy mix, because there's quite a focus on building renewable energy capacity in the future. But when we look at the stability of the power grid systems around the world, you can see that there's been some big disruptions, some very recent. If you just think back to April, 1 month ago, Spain and Portugal had a massive disruption of their grid. The whole country, but 2 countries of the EU went into power blackouts and everything came to a halt. Although I would have to say the data service kept working on backup systems, so they didn't fail. But nevertheless, it just highlights the challenges that can be impacting on power grid systems. So I think the vulnerability and resilience of Korea's power grid system and transmission system is going to be crucial. And what that means is that the mix of energy is probably going to be important, so that as thermal generating capacity is being replaced, it will not only be renewable energy that will replace that, although that is going to be important, but probably nuclear energy will be also very important in the future. And that is part of the plan of the Korean government to continue to use nuclear power in the energy mix. So I think we're going to see a transition towards more nuclear and more renewable energy and less thermal energy. But the stability of the system and the vulnerability of the system are going to be critical aspects when we look into the decade ahead for Korea. Maybe I'll also just note that Korea is also going to play a key role, I think, in helping other countries with their power infrastructure requirements, because Korea is a global leader in power infrastructure. So a big opportunity for Korea will be to help other countries with their huge increases in power demand requirements, because all around the world, many countries are facing the similar challenge due to rapid growth in energy demand from data centers. Thank you.
Well, thank you for your advice. So, Brendan, you waited for quite a long. So, I'd like to ask you that, you've partnered with KAI in Korea to accelerate autonomous system. And what have you learned from working with partners like KAI and other global companies? And what do you see as the key to building successful collaboration between governments, defense contractors, and, for example, startups in this space? Because I think that many enterprise or governments is looking forward to make some partnership with you, through this, your attendance.
No, thank you for the question. One, the partnership with KI has been fantastic, very forward-leaning company that really understands a lot of what I was presenting about in terms of the future being an autonomous one, and leaning into that future and leaning in and recognizing that you need the right tools, you need the right infrastructure, you need the right pipelines to build the products that customers are going to be demanding, to build the autonomy products that customers are going to be demanding. And so when I think about what makes a great partner in Shield AI, and I know Palantir has done a ton of work here as well, it's really, one, having a clear objective, two, understanding that it is a partnership, and three, that in a partnership in the sense that there's going to be challenges, there are going to be obstacles along the way, and you have to face those challenges, those obstacles, very clear-eyed and very in lockstep and locked arms with your partner, whether that's a government, whether that's a company. Those are what we have found to be the most wildly successful partnerships when you recognize it's not a vendor-customer relationship, right? Certainly that is what it looks like on a contract, but both parties understand what they're really trying to achieve. Because, again, everything is going to have some setbacks. Everything is going to have obstacles, especially when you're trying to do something really novel, really innovative, and having the right cultural mindset between that partnership, again, whether it's a government whether it's a military or whether it's a company, is critical to success. And I would just point to, a lot of Shield AI's integrations with other companies onto their platforms, whether it was the Kratos MQM-178 Firejet, whether it's the General Atomics MQ-20 Avenger, whether it was the Lockheed F-16, all of that was done in close partnership with those companies to enable these really amazing outcomes, these really amazing capabilities. If you don't have that, you will, if you treat it like a one-way relationship, or the customer's just saying, well, I'm the customer, I'm the customer, I'm the customer, or the vendor saying, hey, I'm not going to work with you, I'm not going to work with you like this, that's when you run into challenges. It is truly when Shield AI partners with a company, it's in the truest sense of a partnership. We're in it together.
Thank you, and this can be a good tips for like an audience as well. And Joseph, so I really prepared this question to you, that the Palantir is one of the few competitive companies that constantly outperforms each quarter targets and has built an impressive over $290 billion market value in the AI space, so very huge. And as the co-founder and CEO of Palantir, I believe Alex Karp's the leadership philosophy and the company's culture have played a critical role in this success. So I've been a serial entrepreneur as well, so I'm deeply curious about how you guys made the teams and that embrace risk and tolerate failure and also stay resilient while driving meaningful innovations. So just could you share how this philosophy is practiced at Palantir?
So you're asking for the secret sauce.
Thank you.
Good question. There's a whole detailed blog series that sort of dated, I think, 6 years, 2019. We published a comprehensive approach to agile. But just to give you the crux of the message that's in there, we have a truly flat structure. Again, we embody the forward deployed engineering model. That means we have two major, I would say, tranches of the org called PD, product development, and BD, business development. And BD, both parts of the company have a really high hiring bar. We want the world's brilliant people, but we also want people who are autonomous, who are really driven by the mission. So that's, I think, the precondition to run an org like this. And when we say forward deployed engineering, we encourage successful failures. That's an oxymoron, but what that means is, as Brandon said just now, every problem space is going to be riddled with challenges that we've never dealt before. And it is going to first be a learning curve where failure is a necessary step to accomplish where you want to be. So first, we want highly autonomous people doing autonomous things in close lockstep with between our orgs, erring on the over-communication. So that's the first. Second part is, by having truly forward deployed people close to the problem space and encouraging them to fail in a successful way, we build brick by brick. So we think that success on paper is just a house of cards, whereas if you have failures that are accounted for with what we call 5 whys, we keep a highly detailed post-mortem record of why and how we approach this problem space, and then how we failed. The last step to this is, I think, a community that's really trusting each other, and a community that's an ecosystem that's intellectually curious as a start. So that means we don't have hierarchies where decisions are made from the center, but just like I showed in a system, we have decisions made on the edge point. So those three combinations of how we approach this builds a culture of innovation. That's not for everyone. It's for highly mission-specific organizations that are focused on one thing. And this is how we can collaborate with the government who have different mission focuses of maintaining large infrastructures. And I think that's the synergy we can harvest from our partners like KT, HD Hyundai, and the likes, and LIG.
Wow, thank you. It's very impressive. So maybe this can be the final question for all because we have not enough time. So can you answer just like one within 1 minute? Okay. So in this age of intensifying AI competition, so what do you believe is the single most important choice that Korea must make now to ensure it not only survive but also thrive? Just one. Yes, for all.
Okay, so for AI, I think we can all have a consensus that there are four, I think, factors of production of input. That's hardware, the software, data, and human talent. And the way I understand this in a very conceptual way is hardware is like the backbone, the structural, skeletal feature of AI, whereas data is the lifeblood, and the human talent is the hands and feet that actually do the muscle work. Operational AI software is the nerve center, is the neural systems that empower and connect all these tissues of decision making. So I think what Korea is going to be truly excelling at, and compared to other factors, it would take years, even decades to build, like power grids, data centers, and raising human capital. Adopting operational AI at the enterprise level, I think, is going to be the most effective and cost-efficient way to drive innovation in true sense.
I think the most important thing Korea can do, and this goes to government and industry, is really just to lean in, to jump in to AI and autonomy, and really focus on what I would claim is like the application layer, and use AI and autonomy to solve problems that are relevant to the Korean marketplace, to the global marketplace, if you're a Korean business or trying to serve the global marketplace. But I don't think you have to look, yes, there's going to be infrastructure investments. Yet, you see these massive data centers being built all over the world. But what's going to matter at the end of the day, and actually Shyam Sankar from Palantir said this, is like, what is the application you're building? What is the problem that you're solving? And it's something that I think Palantir has done really well, and it's why you've seen them grow really quickly. Shield AI, we're trying to do something very similar on the autonomy side. What autonomy applications are you going to try and build? What customer value do you want to deliver to your end customer with autonomy?
I think following up for those insights, I would just highlight the importance for Korea to build its international talent pool together with the domestic talent pool, because when we look globally at the AI talent pool, it's very much dominated by China, the US, and Western Europe. And so in the top talent pool, Korea at the moment isn't ranking very high. So I think that probably is a very important priority, to develop policies that will accelerate the development of centers of excellence between government, universities, and industry, and also to attract the top talent to Korea to help to drive the AI industrial revolution and technology in Korea.
Thank you all for your insights. So I think that it's very clear that Korea's future in AI will depend on bold choices and also strong partnerships, this good global enterprises, and also the culture that's not afraid to innovate. So thank you again to our incredible panelists, Brandon, Joseph, and Rajiv, and to all of you, thank you for joining us today. So thank you.